so Alex, lead us in.
Recap, last session. Alright, so after doing some investigating in the town, you guys managed to find the infamous Scraps Man, who is known mostly as a local legend. Turns out he is in fact real and lives under the swamp near the town.
Like literally under the swamp. The weirdest shit.
He is a giant pet alligator snapping turtle with 3 heads, and the whole swamp is inhabited by these ragdoll creatures that you have learned are magical constructs. See, Scraps is an old-school sorcerer who practices a style of magic that is basically extinct, with him being the last living in air quotes, practitioner. This style of magic revolves around communing with and bargaining and cooperating with the spirits. Scraps is able to see and speak to them, even though the rest of you can't, but he can give them physical bodies, which is what the ragdolls are. The ragdolls are made using bits of people. Skin, hair, fingernails, whatever. Teeth. He just needs a sample of someone's body to animate the ragdolls. Overall, Scraps seems like a decent enough guy. He's fairly friendly and affable, he's a good cook, he's a hospitable host. He knew you guys were coming, the spirits let him know in advance. Communing with the spirits does mean that he has a certain level of knowledge above other people, but he's not omniscient by any means. Oh, train of thought. So, you guys got talking, and he explained to you that the darkness was sealed away a long time ago by a group of powerful sorcerers, and in order to defeat it, you're going to need to gather a group of sorcerers strong enough to seal it away again. He is one of those sorcerers who might be able to help you do such a thing, but you're gonna need more than just him. That being said, he says there are very few sorcerers like him left in the world, so you're likely going to have to take what you can get in this regard. Now, all this is hunky-dory and all. He managed to heal up Aurora and pull the darkness out of her body and seal it in a jar. But unfortunately, because Ursa couldn't help but ask questions, you realize that the reason that his home to the swamp was sealed off and he couldn't get out was because he tried to steal a girl's body to resurrect his dead wife. And he expressed that he still intends to try and do such a thing again in the future. He still really wants his wife back. Upon express...
Me being an enforcer of the law...
Ursa, unwilling to allow this man to go free, knowing what he intends to do, does not agree to the one request Scraps had. He was willing to give you guys a map to the other sorcerers who could help you save the world, and all he asked in return was that you not seal the door on the way out. But Ursa refused, and so now all of you, except for Alsumi, have been tied up in his home. Alsumi managed to escape by being invisible.
I see you put a lot of the blame on me here.
I'm just saying. Just saying. Look,
you made Pasley mad.
You made a moral decision, and it fucked you by being the good guy.
Stop my occupation.
But yes.
Kind of reminds me of what you said about like the Shadow the Hedgehog game, how playing good was so difficult.
Yeah, sometimes it's harder to be the hero, man.
Mm-hmm.
Being a hero is hard. Being a villain is easy.
Go, you creepy old fuck!
Yeah, I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
You yourself said we have to go stop the darkness. I'm pretty sure it's gonna kill you too.
Boy, ain't nothing gonna kill me. I'm already dead. This shit don't affect me.
12 feet under instead of 6.
Ha. Very funny.
Can we just talk, please?
Here's how we got into this mess.
Sorry, little lady. I think y'all have worn out your welcome.
I'm so sorry.
Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and go for a stroll upstairs. Leave my friends down here to keep an eye on you while I'm out.
If you do, you're not gonna have any friends left when you come back.
Yeah, good luck with that. So with
Ursa
that,
just threatened to kill spirits.
yeah, I was gonna
Destroy their body.
you can destroy the ragdolls. You can't really kill spirits.
I'm just
Yeah.
You're gonna evict them.
Here's your eviction notice. Just a fucking blast to the chest.
With that, Scraps leaves. You guys are now alone in the house, tied up in bandages like mummies.
I still have the Busby thing on my hand.
Yeah, I do believe so. You're just all wrapped up.
The trigger is on the inside where my hand is.
That's a good point. He has left. The house is now surrounded by ragdolls.
I wait a couple of seconds to make sure that he's like
out of earshot.
3 using my gun.
Alright. Yeah, I'm not gonna make you roll or anything for that. It's just, yeah.
I missed the rats.
Oh my god, the rat.
The only roll would be like to figure out if it was strong enough to break the bandage.
You missed and missed very close.
Can I pass do something? What do you want to
Where am I again?
You scurried out of the house when everyone else got captured. So
He was invisible in the
Right,
grass
yeah.
somewhere.
while the
I-
house
I
was
am-
surrounded by rag folk.
Upon Straps leaving the building, she's actually gonna follow him.
You're gonna follow Scraps. Alright. So we'll
Yeah.
be cutting back and forth, cross-cutting to you and Scraps. So, cause Scraps, he's heading out. He's heading upstairs. You're gonna have to find a way to follow him up through the hole in the roof.
You can climb the walls.
No, I intend to
Giant
catch up
cavern
with
in all
him.
directions.
What?
It's a giant cavern in all directions.
The scraps just
Scraps he flies. He's a moth, remember?
Oh yeah.
He just flies
Uh,
up. He fly up through the
Look at
hole.
the scrap standing in the center of the hole and T-posing like, straight up.
Ah,
And
His wings. He just flies up through the hole.
and I'll assume he's actually trying to catch up with him, not follow him from a distance.
Yeah, alright. Sure. I mean, he's flying and you're
Yeah.
on foot, but... I mean, he's not exactly in a hurry either.
Alright.
Right.
So, I shoot my hand free,
Yep.
drop,
Mm.
and they grab the knife to hand.
Yes. Yeah, you have your little knife.
Process of cutting myself and everybody else free. Redoing
Alright, well, while you're cutting people free, some of the rag folk start sticking their heads in through the door and the windows, and they are watching you intently as you do so.
You fucking not, or you mind not. You guys are creepy. Don't blink.
Those
Blink, fucker.
dead, soulless eyes.
Look at each other, and then they look at you, and they inch a little closer.
As I fucking.
I guess that would be Paz.
Huh?
You're cutting Paz free
Yeah,
right
kidding.
Pez grumbles and says, "Why did I keep following you people?"
Because you were drunk.
To be fair, your options at this point are to help out or just
Fucking.
toss a coin and hope the world doesn't end.
As I'm.
Drunken me hates you all.
I know, I'm like, don't get closer, you gonna regret it. Awful nice body you have, be ashamed if something happened to it.
They are,
Give
for
me
the
some
moment,
booze already.
watching patiently.
Can you check to see if this guy has any alcohol? I just want to be done with this.
Yeah,
As is free, you go to the kitchen.
yeah, do a, what was it, inspection or whatever?
Let me get to my stat page. Sorry.
Perception
Notice?
or whatever have you. Notice. Yeah, there you go. Do a notice check. See if you
Okay.
can find any booze.
Okay. So, D6 just notice the brains?
Yep.
Okay. 13.
Alright, yeah, you're able to find a big-ass bottle of rum. Like a full bottle.
Whoa. Okay.
Intensified.
Grabs the bottle of rum and he chugs it. No questions asked.
The entire bottle of rum from under the sink.
Fucking God.
That's a lot of rum.
You have no alcohol tolerance. You're dead.
He doesn't want to be here. Tazly's going to sleep. Taz is awake now.
Mm.
He's going to have a
All right.
when he wakes up.
This is sufficiently drunk Paz now.
Tazly's hoping that Paz will wander away and go to some new people by the time he wakes up.
The time Paz has chugged the fucking bottle of rum, I managed to cut Kula's free.
You know.
You're free now, Kula. What do you do?
Alright, I'm going to try and look casual by turning on the TV and flipping through the channels.
That, I mean, you can do that, yeah.
That was confusing.
I don't know. What order are you going to untie the others in? Jesse.
Well, then one to me. Being Haley, and then
Haley, then Aurora, then we'll have Alsumi last, because we're gonna have to cross-cut to him.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we're gonna do Ursa, Paz, Akula, Haley, Aurora, Alsumi. That's gonna be the turn.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
What were we doing? Paz just got wasted on an entire bottle of rum. Akula decided to turn on the TV in an attempt to look casual. So you just like sit down on his little green sofa and click on this like old ass fucking tube TV with little bunny ear antennas. Like it is a very old TV. It is in black and white.
God,
Ooh, the classics.
You click it on, and you are in fact able to get a news broadcast from the town upstairs. Nothing particularly interesting is on right now. It's black and white and blurry and in low resolution, and the sound is garbage, but it is definitely just the daily news broadcast from NOLA, so.
Alright, I'm going to keep it on and wait for something interesting to happen.
Alright. The ragdolls
Be funny.
are still watching intently. One or two of them start watching the TV. One sits down on the couch next to you to watch TV.
Oh.
I scooch away very carefully.
The ragdoll turns to look at you when you scoot away and looks vaguely disappointed, but it's hard to tell given their lack of facial expressions. And then returns to watching the TV.
Was it trying to flirt or something?
They just, you know.
They wanna
These
make a
guys
friend.
aren't violent inherently. They will fight you if they need to, but they're not violent inherently.
He just wanted to make a friend.
Yeah, just like what?
words of Anna. I'm not Mike Tyson. I won't fight you, but I will tell you if I don't like you.
Yeah. So,
Everyone's off the ceiling.
Haley next. To untie Haley. What are you doing now? What's your untied?
I looked to Usha and I grabbed him by the shoulders. I shook him. I'm like, was it necessary to make him upset?
Did you have to just tell him that? You couldn't just lie.
Truly an attempted murderer.
You could have lied.
Do what? Like he's not gonna know to try and lock the door on the way out?
Hmm. Do you have any response, Haley?
Hold on, I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
I'll give you a minute.
I'm like, Usha, I had a whole plan and you kinda fucked it up, my friend. I will And I should probably let you guys know maybe, but it was simple. I offer myself for Scratch so he could bring his dear wife back. You guys go on. It defeats the darkness. And boom, everybody gets a happy ending.
Well, except for you, who would effectively be dead and your body inhabited by a middle-aged butterfly woman who died 100 years ago. Oop.
Yeah, but I feel like Harry will say, well, I have nothing. I have no family. My pops died a long time ago. I really had nobody. That's why I was so willing to give him my body, because I know what it's like to lose some.
You don't need to go that far.
Well, I'm like, Ursula, but I know what it's like to lose somebody, and I know I will probably be. I know I
That
will be dead.
motherfucker is 200 years old. Everybody he knew is dead, and because he refuses to die.
I mean,
It's
but
all
still,
him.
can you?
You're gonna get rewarded for being a dick.
You actually don't know why he is the way he is. You never actually found out why he's.
He could lay in a hole and die. That's what he was supposed to do 100 years ago. He refuses. He's denying the natural order of things.
Sure, but
Because he didn't originally set out or intend to be immortal. He just ended up in this situation.
Nope, immortal. Oops, I guess I can't die now.
Well, you would know if you asked. You didn't ask for his story with him and his wife.
No,
You didn't.
like, hey, wife, and I'm like, you tried to kidnap the 13-year-old girl? You tried to steal her body? You're a attempted murderer and a pedophile and a rapist.
oh my god. Oh,
Yeah. You go let him go. Saying all this, I'm fucking cutting you free.
but as Harry finishes his short, but to be honest, also, by you showing me some market of me, it kind of made me realize that I see you guys like family in a crazy way. Like, I know we're on this like crazy ass journey and all that, but it's been a crazy ride. But now we should probably try to find another plan. So, but first you should probably go untie the princess.
Yes, please.
Alright.
Poor Wall, it just like, please help.
Alright, so everybody's cut down, right?
Yep.
Patrick is drunk in the kitchen. He was watching television. I don't give a fuck where Toomey is.
I want Taz to do one more thing.
What do you? Well, Aurora gets to do something, but sure, what's Paz gonna do, real quick?
Sing a stupid song.
Oh,
my
you
God.
just sing obnoxiously,
Singing in the kitchen.
drunkenly singing in the kitchen, drinking rum. Aurora, what do you want to do now that you're cut free?
She is. God, she's just upset.
You have no reaction, no response. It's just too much.
Yeah, and honestly, she's just going to be silent for a minute, and then she's just gonna look around to see if she can find anything that can help help them out of this situation.
Yeah.
So she's gonna.
All right. Well, do a notice, I guess, and see if you find anything useful.
On it.
To make the worst possible roll possible.
There we go. Okay. Brains and notice. 12.
Right. So, you are able to find a bookshelf in his room full of magic text. So perhaps something in one of those books might be of help.
She's going to look through all of those books.
Not all of them are in English. There's some in English, there's some in French, and Creole, and there are some in languages that you don't recognize.
Man, why the hell is this book written in Cajun spice?
Oh my god.
Hey, anybody happen to see a way out on the way here? Because we came in through a big hole in the ceiling, but I don't know how to get out.
Aside from Haley, who could fly.
Aurora, you mean?
Or, sorry, Haley.
Fucking like Haley gonna do flex her muscles real hard and fly.
It'd be a lot
I can fly. Sorry.
She could punch the ground really hard and the shockwave will launch her to the sky.
Oh my
No.
Character.
No, she just like twirls her whip really quickly so that it acts like a helicopter.
Oh my god.
She's surprisingly strong for a teenage girl. Granted, she's also a human, which makes her bigger than most of you, despite her age.
Yeah, despite being a early 20-year-old, Haley is pretty strong for I feel she could rival Knuckles in strength. I feel like, but
Haley, fucking. While they're standing there, Ursa looks at Haley and like, Haley, by the way, if you ever get your hands on Scraps, break his arms first.
oh my god, yeah, promise. No, do we can't hurt him necessarily?
If you break his arms, he can't cast magic. That's the only thing I care about.
He's
You
dead.
actually don't even know if that's true.
Well, he did the fucking armband thing at us.
Okay, yeah, but
So
like,
I'm assuming that it has to do something with his arms.
yeah, but those bandages were also wrapped around his legs too, and those also shot out at you.
Yes, but maybe that's because he was there's the arms thing, his hands, like the
That's a-
initiation.
Saying you
also-
don't actually have any confirmation that it's dependent on his hands.
Isn't he also dead? So it's like he can't fully break his arms.
Well, you could.
You
He's
snap
dead.
him.
He probably doesn't feel
Oh,
anything anymore.
He will.
Probably
He won't be
can't
pain.
use
He won't be in
limbs.
pain, but it will
I
break.
want it to be possible.
Like it wouldn't cause him pain, but it would do the thing that was intended, and he wouldn't be able to move his arms. If you broke his arms, he would not be able to move them. That is true. He just wouldn't feel it.
You open the arms, then the wings, then the legs.
Mm.
Boy, big.
Then what? You just carry his fucking torso around the country as you gather up sorcerers. You're like,
We wrap him in his own bandages, see him on the fucking side of a cart, and we have his
Right.
turtle drive us around.
Or you could have Pasley just carry him on his back and sing drunken sea shanties to annoy him the entire time.
Oh,
talking head in a bag.
Oh, that makes me think of a manga I like. No.
oh,
Oh god.
yeah, that's
Um,
what
This
Aurora's
is
gonna
turning
do.
into God of War.
Incidentally, are we actually saying this out loud to our characters? Because we're surrounded by ghost doll things.
Yeah, if you
assume
guys
they
are
can
actually
hear
having
us.
this conversation out loud,
I'm having this conversation.
Yeah.
out loud.
the ragdolls are all staring at you intently, especially Ursa. They are all shooting, well, the equivalent of shooting daggers at Ursa.
I look at them and be like, don't you fucking start with me. He's the one who started this. He wants to kill someone.
As angry as they're capable of looking.
Don't get pissed at me because your boss is an
I-
asshole.
Sorry, I keep interrupting. Sorry.
Go ahead, no.
No, you're fine.
All right. I turn up the TV's volume a bit.
Trying to distract me with the TV.
You have to get up and go do that.
Yeah, you would. You have to actually stand up and go over and turn the dial.
Wow. Click, 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 click.
Very old TV.
Very indiscreet.
Very
Trying
indiscreet.
to be nonchalant about it, but so
Obnoxiously
This
loud
sounds like a
clicking
television-
of the TV dial.
This sounds like a scene from a sitcom.
I love this.
Like two characters talking about how they're gonna break someone's bones, and then just a bunch of people looking at them like, WTF?
So,
Alright, everybody.
Hmm.
We should collect any supplies he had and then head out.
alright, Aurora's looking through the books, see if she could find any texts in his library that look useful. Anything that might, I don't know, pertain to the darkness or help you figure out what to do with scraps.
Alright, so, Baz has already checked the kitchen, so they'll know if there's any stuff we could use in there.
Yeah.
Check the books. Look at the television, so if anything important pops up there.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye on all the weird fucks surrounding the house.
Yeah, the rag folk. Haven't done anything, because their only instruction is just to make sure you don't leave the house. So, as long as you don't leave the house, they're just watching you. and watching TV alongside you.
Do I know this?
Yeah, he said
He said it.
he said that they would make sure you didn't leave.
Alright, so if there's one thing I know about magic, it tends to be stupidly specific.
Yeah.
Haley, do you think you can lift the house?
What?
Because if we don't leave the house, they can't attack.
I mean,
If we take the house with us,
We're gonna help Louis tackle
What is this? Up now?
How much of the house do
silly.
you think you would have to carry for it to count as still being in the house?
I don't have to expect it to work. I'm just throwing out ideas.
Do
Well,
Like,
we,
we're gonna have to fight like a bunch of sacks of potatoes and teeth, and I don't want to do that.
Aurora is looking through a bookshelf full of magic textbooks. You could,
yeah.
well, yeah, but they're spell books. You could try and find a spell that might lift the house. That would actually also potentially help you guys get out of here, because you need to get everyone up through that hole. And if there's a spell that'll make the house fly, that would do the trick.
Who can and can't do magic?
Well, Scraps' brand of magic is actually basically entirely taught, and you know this because when you were asking about it, he explained that it was something that he learned from his mom and has been passed down through his people. It's a practice, it's something you learn, right? So theoretically, any of you, or at the very least Aurora, could learn it. It's maybe implied that specifically like butterflies and moths and shit are more inclined to this brand of magic.
Anyway,
But still. Point is,
Aurora, look at that book and see if there's any way to relocate our friends.
yeah, gesturing to the ragdolls.
okay, I'll see if I can
So,
make a house moving
hey.
castle out of this hut.
Let's see if we can get sacks of potatoes.
That
Well,
would be
aren't they all ragdolls?
Be nice to them,
So-
please.
They're people-sized ragdolls, basically.
So they're burnable.
They're people-sized, though.
We have a bottle of rum. That's
They are flammable, yes.
Jesus Christ!
They are made of rags and, like, straw.
Breaking people's mouths.
I don't know if we want to make a big ruckus out of this, because, I mean, Scraps might overhear from some of the spirits. Honestly.
The more mean you are to the spirits, the more he's likely to hammer down on you guys later.
Yeah.
Because you know he's friends with them, and he does not have a lot of friends who aren't spirits.
Maybe we shouldn't burn them.
He is a depressed, lonely, questionably sane old man whose only friends are these spirits.
Questionably sane. Not sane at all.
Well, I mean, you can make it look like an accident with a currently drunk idiot that's in the kitchen.
I vote not to burn them.
No, me neither. Haley's like, no, let's not burn them. They are adorable, and I imagine he goes and picks shorts up.
We're currently sitting inside of a box of tinder. I don't think we're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this house is pretty flammable. Like, very flammable. But that you'd probably just end up setting the whole cabin on fire very quickly.
Yeah,
So
and
everybody's
that's gonna be even worse.
looking for. I walk towards the door. I don't leave, but I'm standing next to it, and I slowly move my hand out.
Ragdoll standing closest to the door, lean in, like, right uncomfortably close to your face, and then just keep doing this. Where they're, like, they keep swaying back and forth with their eyes locked on your hand.
Depending on how far I get though.
Just-
We ain't leaving without a fight.
Let me s-
Comfortably close to you when you get to the door.
They all smell like.
One of them just turns to stare at you when you make that comment.
be nice to them, Ursa, please.
They smell like swamp water, to be honest.
Well, they can bathe. They don't have skin.
Yeah. The best they could do is dunk themselves in some soapy water and then hang themselves out to dry.
Imagine like a fucking couple of ragdolls hanging on a clothesline like clothespins. This is the
Oh my god.
Oh, you know, that might be something they do sometimes.
So, Paz, and
Mhm.
collect any food you see in the bag. Probably gonna need it.
He's actually got quite a bit of food in his kitchen, but it's mostly raw ingredients that have to be prepared. It's mostly like fresh veggies and shit. He says we've got a lot of sausage in there, some shrimp, you know, rice,
shark to
fair
make
amount of
something.
rice. Huh?
Like
The
to
cook
make
makes some.
Yeah. He's got a lot of basically anything you'd find in like, you know, Louisiana, in like New Orleans cuisine and whatnot. You know, any kind of general staples: peppers, tomatoes, rice, sausage, seafood.
Let's cut to it soon.
Yes. Map for Alsumi.
I was kind of getting Skyrim vibe. Just shove everything in your pants. Steal everything. Rob him blind.
I don't know if we want to
Who's
rob
that?
him. He's gonna have to help us out find the sorcerers that can help us out with the darkness.
Also,
Becomes
we're
everybody-
being watched by like a zillion living security cameras.
Uh-huh.
Told to protect his
He
stuff,
didn't.
too.
He
Now, that's-
technically he didn't tell them. He didn't tell them.
Actually,
to
they
keep
got no
his
such
stuff.
instruction about protecting his property. They don't seem to care about you guys stealing. They just want to make sure you don't leave. To be fair, you stealing his food literally does not matter. Scraps can't actually eat this food. He just likes to cook.
We're horrible people.
No, they are. I'm just watching TV and trying not to
Oh,
let
yeah,
these things eat me or explode or anything.
Mhm.
Wait a second. What? Wait, what's going on with the map? What?
We're cutting over to you and Scraps. So,
You're this far?
well, yeah, I'm gonna skip over you guys navigating the swamp because I don't feel like anything interesting is likely to come out of that. The rag folk aren't terribly aggressive, and you're invisible anyway. Well, I mean, some of the spirits can probably still see you, but you had already left the house by the time he told them to guard the house. So,
Yeah.
on technicality, they're not paying attention to you. So I don't see there being any obstacles in your way. You're just following him through the swamp until he flies up through that hole. Although that does beg the question, how do you pursue him up through the hole? Because you gotta figure something out. You gotta figure out some way to get up there. Also, by that point, I'm not gonna bother giving you guys a map because there's no point. I'm just gonna have you walk through the section, and then once you're out of the hole, you'll be in this area. But, Loa is awake. You guys get to the hole, and Loa has woken up. She is groggy, but she is awake. Scraps runs over. This is actually where you learn her name, because you didn't even know it was a her or that she had a name. But Scraps comes over to her, and he starts loving on her and petting her and giving her scratches and calling her, you know, pet names and being like, "Oh, my poor baby. They were so mean to you. What did they do to my poor baby?" She seems very happy to see him. She seems very happy to see him. She gives him kisses. He gets big, wet, sloppy turtle licks. But she's very happy to see her master, and he does some voodoo witch doctor shit to patch up the damage you did to her. She is back to full health now. Scraps does grumble a bit about her being stuck down here, since she wasn't actually supposed to be down here. As much as he loves her and all, he didn't actually ever intend for her to be back down here. She's a bit big, and it's hard for him to get her up through the hole now that she's this size. She did not used to be quite so huge. I mean, she's always been big, but not this big. Anyway, so Scraps does some more magic, and Loa begins to float. So this would give you an opportunity to potentially try and grab onto the turtle and ride her up.
Yeah.
So
I'll do that.
Scraps is sitting on top of her shell, and he's flapping his wings a bit like he's flying, but he's not exactly carrying her per se. He's more just sitting on her, and she's flying with him as a result. And and you guys float up, back up through the hole, into the chamber you were in before. He ends up pulling her up into one of the side tunnels, since there's no longer a floor in this room. But there is still that spiral staircase that leads up. Obviously, you're gonna have to hold your breath and swim, but you got up through the hole by riding on Loa.
Nice.
Scraps gives her some more cuddles and kisses before being on his merry way and strolling up the swamp. When he does reach the water line, a bubble forms around him as he swims up through the water. He doesn't really swim, he just continues to fly through the water, surrounded by air. You, on the other hand, are stuck swimming through murky swamp water to catch up to him. When finally you guys make it fully to the surface, Scraps shakes off any pond water that might have gotten on him in the process, and he takes off his hat, slicks back his hair, fixes his antenna for a minute. There's a bit of preening before being in public again for the first time in a long time. And he sets off out of the woods and into the low-income area where the other moths live. He doesn't appear to be trying to hide either. He's just strolling into town today. So are you following along?
Yes. I am trying to catch up to him so that I can talk to him.
Alright, go ahead. At this point, he's just strolling on into town at a casual pace, so if you want to approach him, you might as well.
Pardon me, Mr. Man. First name Scraps.
I was wondering when you all were gonna speak up. You know, my spirit friends can still see you when you do that little trick of yours, right? I knew you were following this whole time. But seeing as how you seem less inclined to have my hide than the rest of your crew, I figured I'd let it pass.
Yeah, I would actually like to have, how you say, alliance with you?
You're looking to bargain, aren't you?
No, I just, want to prevent the world from dying.
Well, I mean, don't we all, I guess?
Yeah, and, like, you seem like a really powerful ally, so, yeah, that's, like, where the thought process ends.
Well, you see, here's the thing, son. I'm probably your only option, as it were. There ain't enough sorcerers left in the world that you can afford to be picky.
I mean, yeah, I figured.
And frankly, this shit don't affect me. Darkness can't do shit to me, I'm already dead.
Yeah.
So, way I see it, y'all need me, but I don't need dick from you. So, if you're gonna want my help, I'm already done playing nice. Y'all messed up my sweet Loa. You came into my home, and y'all threatened to trap me there.
I didn't. Ursa did. He's a dick.
I'm no longer inclined to charity, son. You're gonna have to find some way to entice me.
Well, before you left, I was actually already planning on making you an offer.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I'm an assassin, so, killing people isn't really, like, something I'm opposed to, like, morally. Of course, I only kill specific people, which is why I was going to offer, I was going to essentially try finding a
racist
target.
Old lady.
Yeah. Yes. Well, not necessarily an old person. I was just going to find someone that I think needs to, stop being alive. And, just give them to you.
Scraps ponders your offer for a bit, and, suggests the two of you have a talk over some booze. He takes you to the bar to sit and talk things out. Now, this bar has been operational, turns out, for a real long time. It's been passed down through a couple generations of the family that owns it. Scraps used to be friends with the guy who owned it way back in the day when he was a living person who actually lived in this town. Now, sitting down at the bar, a few people do start turning heads and staring at him, but you notice that the moth folk, while they seem a bit scared, it doesn't look like anyone is in a rush to go report him or say anything. People are clearly spooked, and they're whispering amongst each other, but so far no one's actually made any attempt to attack him or go report him to the cops. And he's even able to order some alcohol without too much trouble, which he pays for in some gold coins that look like they're probably no longer in circulation.
All right.
It's like, well, son of a bitch, he's actually here. Like, CP just floating around.
It's this local urban legend, and here he's just fucking...
It's the local cryptid. How you doing?
Bigfoot just walks into town and orders a beer.
To order beers at this bar every day. I just told you it got passed down a couple generations. An old bar.
Yeah.
It's a very old bar.
Since that's the first, I assume he's actually hearing of this information, he responds by saying, well, shit, that's an old bar.
It's an old town. I remember what this place was like before it got as big as it was. Before they built that big fuck-off wall around downtown.
Mm.
But you know how butterflies are. The bartender...
Honestly, no.
The bartender who has seemed a bit surprised by all of this kind of gives a nonchalant shrug and a nod when Scraps makes the comment about butterflies, though.
I mean, I'm not too familiar with butterflies, but I'm pretty sure I catch a drift anyway.
They like working us to the bone so that they can have all their nice fancy things. Making us live off the frickin' scraps.
As a matter of fact, those are the kinds of people I typically take on.
Not all butterflies are bad. Scraps reaches into his coat pocket. Once he's gotten himself a couple of swigs of whatever it is he ordered, and he's pressured you into taking a sip or two, he reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out an old photograph to show you. The picture is very old and sepia tones, but it shows him with a butterfly woman.
Is that your wife?
One and only. My sweet Ava Blue. She was, once upon a time, the most eligible bachelorette in this city. Ain't not a single man who didn't want her hand. Of course, back then, it weren't exactly so acceptable for someone of her breeding to be associating with us moths. Let alone someone like myself. See, my magic didn't used to be so rare. It used to be something that all of my kin shared. Something we learned, something passed down. Our kinship with the spirits was something precious to us. And them fucking butterfly folk come moving in on our land and took that shit away from us. When I was growing up, it was just me and Ma who were still practicing. Ain't no one else. Then Ma passed away. And then I was just selling our spells like trinkets out of my wagon to make ends meet. Of course, magic's been banned in the city for long as I can remember. I always had to sell on the other side of the road, just outside the city limits. Got harassed by the cops every day for it. But Ava, she weren't like the rest of them.
So, to me, schmoozing.
Yes.
The psychopath.
Yes. Alright. Well, he is regaling him drunkenly with the story of his dead wife.
Poor man.
The perception check. See.
Okay, go ahead. Go on.
I got a 6.
Right, well, 6, I will let you know one of their attributes. Which attribute do you want to know? Speed, brains, personality, power, or luck? They do not have health. You just have to basically do something that would make it so they can't move. Like if you ripped their head off or something, but they effectively don't have health. You just have to tear them up until they can't move. Alright. You just have to rip them up. There's a lot of them.
You find anything useful in those magic books yet?
Give me.
Alright, let's see if she found that floating spell that Scraps used to make Loa float.
Let's see. I'm gonna have to roll again for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another d6 for brains and notice.
Yep.
On it. That's another 12. I think.
Alright. So, yeah, she is able to find the spell, but in order to perform it, you're going to have to make a certain trinket out of some of the ingredients that Scraps has in his home. You don't even necessarily know what all these ingredients are off the top of your head, but there's another book nearby with pictures of stuff, so you can probably figure out what's what.
Okay, time to make a trinket.
Alright. So, are you gonna have other people chip in, help you find the different ingredients needed to make this little magic trinket?
Hold on, let me get into character. Guys, I think I found something that could help us get out. There are some ingredients, don't really know much of these ingredients, but would you be willing to help me out make this trinket so that we can get out of there?
What does the trinket do?
It makes things float.
You, as the holder, as long as you're holding onto it, you can make anything that you are touching float.
Aurora just basically says that, yeah.
But you're a butterfly, you already fly.
Well, yeah, but this trinket only works for people who can fly to begin with. She's going to be basically carrying shit with her as she flies. That's how it works.
Alright. Can you carry the whole house?
Well, yeah, because she won't actually have to carry the weight of the house.
Well, the house is anchored to the ground now.
Oh, well, good point. You're gonna have to destroy the support beams that keep it above the water.
Or we can just fucking leave.
Yeah, or you can leave and kill the ragdoll. You're gonna have to keep fighting ragdolls the entire way out.
Kill the ragdolls.
We're floating! Can they fly?
Well, that's another thing. You're still gonna have to get up through the hole, so even if you're not gonna use this on the whole house, you still need to get up through the hole, and she's not strong enough to carry all of you.
Yeah.
Oh, what, so Scrap can carry a whole ass split?
Because he has one of the mini trinkets on! Yes.
The point is that she can't float the whole house.
She doesn't have to float the whole house, just floating you guys will be enough.
Get outside, we can all lock hands and then just fucking Peter Pan away.
Just need a little
count?
face trust and pixie dust.
Oh boy.
I have a weird question, but would it count? Would it count if they like ripped off the front door? Everyone got on the front door, and she lifted the front door and floated him out. Because they're still touching the front door of the house.
House. On a very loose technicality.
Ragdolls have a lawyer, they have to fucking,
Spirits are usually notoriously pedantic about these kinds of things, to be fair. It's like having a bunch of extremely autistic friends.
I feel that.
Boy.
I have the advantage on that one, my lawyer's still out. Why did you stop them? They were on the door, that's technically part of the house.
Anyway, I found this trinket. We need to make it. We're gonna have to do something about it. Can you please help? If not, then I'll do it by myself.
I'll help you, Aurora. And Harry just walks over to her.
Thank you.
I'll do it.
Great, thank you.
Paz is useless, so he's singing.
Pass.
So with everyone except for Paz helping out, you guys managed to search his house and find the necessary ingredients. Some of them are tucked away in his room, some of them are in the kitchen, you know, some of them were in that little kit he brought out when he was patching up her shoulder. Overall, the process for making this thing is a little complicated, and it basically involves a ritual. It basically involves making a sacrifice to the spirits in order to bless your little artifact. That sounds more ominous than it is. You actually don't need to like kill anything. You just need to make it something to eat. You just like food. Like a food sacrifice will do fine.
Okay.
So make something you think the spirits will like. If you want this trinket to work, you need to give them something that they'll like. The ragdolls, of course, have all started gathering around and intently watching you because they recognize the ritual and they know that a gift is coming. So they're waiting to see what you're going to gift them.
How about we just push the television? That way it's facing outside.
No.
And they'll just watch the
That
TV.
way they can all watch the television, but they can just sit out on the lawn. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they're not watching the TV. They're watching you guys do the ritual because they know that means presents are coming. They know that you guys are going to give them a present, so they're waiting to see what the present will be. Akula's good at cooking, though,
Yeah, I
so
was
you could
about
have
to-
her make something out of
I
the
was
shit that's
about
in the
to
kitchen.
I was about to ask Akula if she could maybe help out making something in the kitchen.
Can do. Can't remember. I don't think I've ever done Cajun, though.
Well, that's what you've got the ingredients for.
What's the worst that could happen?
Well,
So what
I mean,
would
the worst
roll
that
for
could
this?
happen is that they could be offended because you're competing with Scraps' cooking, a man who's been cooking traditional Cajun dishes for 200 years.
It's a rhetorical question.
The worst that could happen is they don't like your food.
All right. Well, do I have to roll?
Yeah, go ahead, roll. Let's see how good the food comes out, how good your Cajun cooking comes out, and if you're able to impress the spirits, get them to bless your...
All right. What would I roll?
That's a good question. I'm gonna... This is, like, weird, but I'm going to say this is a build check. I'm gonna count cooking under a build check. I don't know what else to roll for this. So I'm gonna put it under a build check. It's gonna be a brains roll, basically. You have nothing in build, so it's just gonna be brains. Oh, your brains are not that high. Good luck.
Wait, should Akula get some kind of like bonus for being a cook?
I'll give her a bonus for already being a cook. So I'm gonna give her a +2 since she's already like a fast food chef. So yeah, a 10. I'm gonna say. So out of 10, you bring the food over, you set it down in the little ritual area that Haley has set up on the coffee table, and the ragdolls all start crowding around the table and staring at the food intently. They do not take it right away. They seem curious, but hesitant. The food doesn't look terrible, right? It looks alright. It doesn't look quite like what Scraps made earlier. Like, you tried to copy his recipe from earlier, and you got something that looks similar, but the consistency isn't quite the same. It's a bit too thick in places. The color is a bit different. So, they're kind of eyeballing it suspiciously and considering whether or not they're willing to give it a try.
I'm not saying a dang thing. I'm kind of nervous with all these people just kind of staring at things.
You're like, I'm just gonna...
These fuckers don't.
Aurora just...
I'm walking on eggshells here.
Aurora's trying to, like, smile at them, be like, come on, give it a try, it's not gonna hurt you.
I find the spirits oddly adorable and endearing.
Yes, I love them.
I stand next to one of the spirits, get real close, and go, eat the soup.
Be nice to them.
Spirit looks up at you, and then back down at the bowl, and then back up at you, and then it reaches over to pick up the bowl, and it holds the bowl, and it stares at the bowl for a minute, and after a moment or two, it brings the bowl up to its stitched on mouth that can't actually open, and kind of lets some of the soup soak into the fabric.
I'm still it's like right next to it, staring at it. Do you like the soup?
Soup down for a moment, and seems to be thinking. After a moment or two, it nods slowly, and gestures to the other ragdolls, who each take a turn sipping on the soup, and...
You mean soaking their faces?
Yes. They all look to each other. They give each other little nods as if to say, "This is acceptable."
Yay! Aurora
Oh,
gets a napkin to try and clean their faces a little bit because they're a little bit messy on the face.
They're just dripping soup onto the floor.
Yeah,
They don't have actual mouths.
Yeah, she tries to clean a little bit of the residue off so that they don't leave a mess.
Ragdolls seem content with your offering, and one of the ragdolls that she attempts to clean seems to actually lean into the affection. They actually seem very fond of being touched. So, after they've all had a sip of the soup, a few of the ragdolls that have gathered around the table all place their hands on the little trinket that you have assembled, and a bright light glows throughout the room, different colors coming from different ragdolls. After a moment or two, the light fades, and the trinket is left with a faint glow to it. It has been successfully blessed with the required enchantment, thanks to the spirit's help. The ragdolls who enchanted it, however, look pretty tired now, and a couple of them just fall. They just collapse onto the floor, lifeless.
Oh yeah, so fun for us.
So you now have a charm of weightlessness you can use to carry basically any amount of weight while you are flying.
Aww.
I will mention that there is conveniently just a boat outside the house.
There is like a little wooden boat sitting in the water.
Yeah, but we can't get out of the house.
Well, yeah, as soon as you leave the house, the ragdolls are gonna have to attack because they've been told.
They're unconscious now.
Only a couple. There's still a bunch outside.
Mm-hmm.
The house is still surrounded. It's only a few that came inside, and of the ones that came inside, not all of them passed out. Just a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
You can test out the door theory.
As we discussed it earlier, I'm gonna make the attempt. I grab the door and I don't rip it off the hinges. I just kind of pop it off its hinges because it's just kind of
Yeah.
there. I just take the door off its hinges. I push the door outside. I lay it on the ground and I stick one foot out and stand on it. And I look at the ragdoll's reaction.
They keep staring at you, but none of them move or make any gestures.
Guys, I think it's gonna work.
The
As bullshit as this is, I think it's gonna work.
door is green, by the way. I know that's not important to anything, but it is green.
So I kind of gesture for everyone. All right, guys, let's see if we can all fit on this door. So we're all standing on the door.
Yes, you are all standing on the door, including one of the ragdolls, which has taken a seat on the door next to your feet.
Aurora's holding on to that one. That's her friend.
I guess he's not gonna.
He's probably not going to do anything because you're still in the house.
All right, fine. We'll keep it for now. I just don't want to piss him off.
Yay! Friend!
He's just sitting on the door with you guys.
Whoa.
There's also one of the ragdolls with soup stains on its face.
Oh, soupy.
Doesn't want more soup.
Soupy.
Alright, so we're all standing on the door. Aurora's still in the house because she has to lift it.
Yeah. Well, she's gonna have to stand on the door with you guys, is how that's gonna work.
Someone hold on the pads. I don't want them falling off.
Someone needs to hold Paz. Cannot trust the drunkard not to fall off the door on her.
He's not gonna be trustworthy at all in this situation.
Just grabs the door, lifts it,
Yeah.
floats off.
Yeah, I guess that's what you guys are doing. She's gonna stand on the door, hold the trinket, and then just fly, and anything that she's touching and whatever is gonna float with her. So since she's standing on the door is gonna float and like it's stuck to her feet. Which means all of you guys are gonna float with.
Hold on tight.
It's like prop pushing in Gary's mod.
Yeah. So she's just gonna fly you guys on top of this green door back out the swamp.
I can show
Go-
you the world.
We were going Monsters Inc. style. I thought we were going Neverland style initially.
The ragdoll seems completely content and chill with this entire arrangement.
I love
Putting the
this.
ragdoll at the bottom. What are you back to it?
You missed the really good pun. I can show you the door.
I can show
God damn
you
it.
the door.
Let's get
Beautiful.
the fuck out of here.
Tell me, Ragdoll, now when did you last see the world above?
I
I
know
am
if
drunk as can be. Please hold me.
Hold the ceiling, right?
Yep. Delete all the extra ragdolls except the one that tagged along.
He is.
I absolutely love the fact that it worked.
I love
Yeah.
him. I love this Ragdoll.
I'm sorry we're not doing a lot of combat this time around. It's the kind of character where there's a lot of fun like fuckery you can do with the magic.
Yes.
Magic has all kinds of funny janky rules.
I'm just happy that we didn't die.
Wee.
Alright. So Scraps and Alsumi are hanging out at the bar, and Scraps is telling Alsumi still the story of his dead wife. Basically, to make a long story short, their community was segregated, right? Scraps was not exactly a criminal person. Oh, well, I mean, I guess a lot of the stuff he was selling was technically illegal at the time, but, like, he was selling it outside of the city property, so they couldn't do anything about it. Anyway, point of the matter is, his people's native magic practices were outlawed a long time ago when butterflies came in and colonized the place. He met Ava, who was a courtesan and very well desired and sought after, right? She was a classy woman people would pay to take to parties and whatnot and be their arm candy. She was a socialite. She was well educated and charming. And she fell for him, of all people. Unfortunately, that didn't go over well, especially with one guy in particular who really wanted her hand and was very offended that she would choose a filthy moth over him. So that guy made a stink, basically framed Scraps for attempted murder on the mayor of the town at the time. Specifically, he made some fake voodoo doll that he hid in Scraps' wagon, and then injured the mayor in such a way that would make it look like Scraps had tried to kill him. So some shit happened to the mayor, and then he accused Scraps of doing it, so the authorities searched his wagon, found the thing that the guy planted there. Scraps, of course, tried to explain that that's not even how you make a functional voodoo doll, that it wouldn't even fucking work, because the thing he made was fucking trash. But, you know, not like anyone would listen to him. No one knows or cares or care to know. Anyway, people were gearing for a lynching. They were more than willing to drag him into the center of town and burn him at the stake for witchcraft. And it was Ava who came and saved him with the help of Loa, who at the time was a lot smaller and used to pull his wagon in and out of town every day. So she rescued him. They escaped back into the swamp.
You do realize that you said long story short, right?
I'm sorry. I'm getting us caught up.
She's trying her
They
best.
escaped back into the swamp, and you'd think it'd be their happy ever after, but it kind of wasn't. People kept coming into the swamp to try and find them and hunt him down, and Scraps, with the help of his rag folk, would definitely keep in which these guys came into the swamp to try and hunt them down. Scraps actually did manage to get harpooned by Ava's scorned ex-lover. Well, not ex-lover. She was never actually romantically with this guy. He was just an incel who wouldn't give up on her. Anyway, so he got a harpoon to the chest and was dying, and so...
A harpoon?
Yes.
The harpoon.
In any case, they were on boats in the swamp. Anyway, so he takes a harpoon to the chest, she drags him to their hut, and as he is dying, there aren't a whole lot of things he can think of in the moment to save his life, so teaches her a spell that would allow her to basically trap his soul in his rotting body, for lack of a better way to put it. That's the only way he could think to save his own life in that moment, so he walked her through the steps as he was bleeding to death on how to do this. And she did, and this is how he got to the state he is currently in. Unfortunately, Ava was still a normal mortal woman who continued to age. The two of them managed to build their little magic sanctuary underneath the swamp after this incident, and people stopped bothering them because they just couldn't fucking find them anymore. They completely cut themselves off from the rest of society after that. But Ava continued to get older, and she started getting gray hairs and other things, and realizing that he would be around forever, and she wouldn't, she wanted to try and perform the same spell on herself so that they could be together forever. Unfortunately, when he tried to do the spell on her, she panicked, and that fucked up the spell, and she died. So he's been trying to find a way to bring her back ever since.
Well, as the saying goes, the person who's most likely to kill you is your spouse.
I mean,
It was an accident.
Well, on the bright side, Scraps, they're all dead now. The assholes that tried killing you, they're all dead now.
that's pretty fucking cold comfort. I don't care about them. I don't care what happened to them. I just want my Ava back. I don't care about anyone else.
What about your spirits?
They'll be fine. Spirits have been here long before I have, and they'll be here long after I'm gone. Darkness or no, they're just part of the earth. They'll always be around.
I have an out-of-character question.
Go ahead.
What was the turtle's name again?
Loa.
Loa. Okay, I'll assume he knows this because he was talking to Loa earlier, so...
Yeah.
So he says, what about Loa?
I find some way to keep her safe.
At this
Oh,
point, are we there yet?
Yeah, you guys have made it up, so you are now in the woods on the edge of town.
We're still floating, right? So.
I would,
Yeah, you're still floating on the door until Aurora decides to put you down.
I would love to see everyone's...
True.
I'd love to see everyone's reaction.
No, because they are in the tavern right now. So you guys can't see them, they can't see you. You're in the tavern. They're in the tavern, I mean.
We
To
just
be
keep-
fair, knowing him, he probably didn't actually expect... He probably was expecting you guys would get free eventually, because he knows that the ragdolls aren't very smart. There's no way he's not aware of how dumb they are. But the thing is, he's already out, so the thing that he was stopping you guys from doing, that being stopping him from escaping, he had already accomplished that goal. Unless you guys think you're strong enough to take him on in a fight and drag him back down there.
Nope.
Nope.
If it comes down to it, I'll assume he will literally physically defend him.
The only people who can kill him.
That's a good point.
Dissolve his ass.
Alright, so... Alsumi has learned the story behind him and his wife. How he became the undead creature that he is today, and how he and his wife parted ways, and he's basically given up on humanity. Well, you know what I mean. Mobianity. He's given up on people, right? Like, people screwed him. The only person that didn't was his wife, and she's gone. Right? He's been spending the last 100 years with no one to talk to but spirits, and you guys have seen how smart those guys are. They are not the brightest, and they are frustratingly pedantic. So, as one can imagine, this man is very lonely. He's lonely. He is, despite his jovial appearance on the surface, deeply depressed. And doesn't really have anything to live for, but also can't die. He's just trapped in this body of his. I mean, if he could die, that would be one way he and Ava could be back together. But if that was an easy accomplishment, you'd think he would have done so already.
Tell you what, once your wife is back with you, I think both of you should get therapy.
And he's like, what the hell is therapy?
That's actually a good point. He wouldn't even know. He predates therapy.
Right, so we're floating on above the trees, right? Coming in town.
Yeah.
I get an idea. Look at the ragdoll. Can you point to where Scraps is?
Doll looks up at you, and then he looks down for a moment, and then he points to the tavern.
Yay, he served a purpose. I don't regret breaking him.
Actually, Aurora, I know that there might not be an answer, but Aurora actually wants to see if the ragdoll could maybe try and figure out how to, she could try to figure out the ragdoll's name.
With that, it cannot speak.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Get it right.
Alright. So you guys are gonna float down to the tavern?
Yeah.
I take it you're landing your door in front of the tavern.
Actually, no, we're gonna... hold on. How about we open the door to the tavern and float?
Actually, that's a good point.
We're still floating in.
Actually, because if you get off the door, then your ragdoll friend is gonna have to try and fight you.
Yeah.
The singular lone ragdoll that tagged along.
Yeah.
Pulling a gun to his head the whole time we step off.
I don't wanna attack our friend. He's friend.
You stay floating on your door and awkwardly try to float through the door into the tavern.
Oh, the tavern probably has big disclaimers.
It probably does have big swinging doors, so I guess that's manageable.
We're inside now.
Still floating.
Imagine Scraps sees us.
Floating a few inches off the ground on your door. By the time you get in, by the way, the moths that were previously, kind of sticking to the walls and, watching him nervously, they've all actually gathered around to hear his story about Ava, and a lot of them actually seem pretty chill with his presence. See, here's the thing. Moth folk don't actually have that many problems with the Scraps Man. They'll have a lot of spooky stories about him. But once he actually started drinking and talking and cracking jokes and lamenting his dead wife, people seemed to warm up to him.
One of the old guys, I too have a dead wife.
So they're all actually, pretty chill with him at this point. Scraps turns, sees you guys floating on a door with a little rag folk accompanying you. He's like, God dang it, Fred. I was wondering how long it would take y'all to outsmart them. Spirits, gotta love them, ain't the brightest bunch.
You don't say.
Points for figuring out how to use my spell books, though.
Let me figure it out. We just have to read. See, in our time, most people can read.
Okay, that's enough.
That's enough. This guy can... So, Scraps, you want to go back home now?
No.
I gotta go bride shopping, you see. I ain't going home anytime soon. Unless y'all feel inclined to try and make me.
It's a rather untactful way of saying it, but yeah, I'm with you.
A couple of the other moths in the bar also kind of look like they might take Scraps' side if this turns into a fight.
I have a gun.
Ursa, you're not going to use that gun.
No, Ursa, no, wait.
We're not letting you shoot anyone. No murder.
It's not murder. It's just their leg.
None of that. There's no violence.
That scene from Terminator 2 where he just shoots the guy in the leg and he's like, what was that? And he's like, he'll live.
live. I fucking look at all the people in the bar like, he's trying to kill someone to steal their body.
Can Paz do
He's-
something? I got an idea.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, he still has a giant rum bottle, and he's using it. He has his heightened karate senses.
Mhm.
So I'll have him hit Ursa on the back of the neck with the rum bottle, make him pass out. Can I do that?
Successful. You're literally
I mean,
standing
if
right
you get
behind
hit in
him.
the
I
head with
can't
a-
see how that would fail.
I mean, if you hit someone on the head with a bottle, you will knock him out.
You just knocked Ursa out with an empty rum bottle.
Can he get? He's too drunk to
Then
catch him,
fall
so he's
off
just gonna
the
flop
door
on
in
the
the
floor.
process, which prompts the ragdoll to climb off the door and then sit on top of Ursa's unconscious body. Little Fred is doing his job.
Whoa!
He's sitting on top of Ursa like, I'm helping.
Just sit on him.
I love Fred. I love him.
Oh, Fred is so cute.
I love
Aw.
Fred.
Fred is amazing.
I love Fred.
Watching that exchange, Elsumi turns to Scraps and he's like, I want one of those.
Teach you how to make one. Oh, it takes some
I'd
time
love
though
that.
to learn. It takes some time though to learn some magic like that. He points to Aurora.
Huh?
Y'all impress me, little lady. Mon cher, that spell ain't easy to pull off for a first timer. Granted, you're royalty, ain't you? So I guess it's in your blood, huh?
I don't really know if it's in my blood, but you are correct about me being royal. But I doubt that has anything to do with the magic. I'm not really sure.
You don't know much about your own history, do you?
No, sadly. Mother and father never told me anything about my history.
Well, I could teach you a few things about our kingdom. Granted, if you'd be so inclined to learn. I don't know. Your friend seems real keen on having my hide, so we'll just have to see how things go.
Oh my god.
Oh, believe me. Believe me. I'll be sure that he doesn't do anything rash to you. But we do need your help.
Yeah, I know. Darkness and all that.
It isn't just that.
There's something else you want from me.
I don't
Go
know.
on, speak up, mon chéri.
Sorry. It's just... I'm sorry, train of thought.
Give you a minute to think about what you were trying to say. We
Yeah.
might also wrap up soonish. It's getting close to midnight.
It's
They did.
it's not what I want. I can make a deal.
Mm.
You see, I'm the only heir to, well, the Firefly Kingdom. If there's anything that I can do to maybe bring back the magic that, or even the whole history that your people had, I would be more than willing to try and do that.
You're gonna try and make me an offer to revitalize my people's history.
That is correct.
This is an alternative to taking a new bride, ain't it? His tone does seem to imply, though, that he might actually be tempted to accept this as an alternative to getting Ava back. That if there is some way that you can help him teach his practice and spread it around and give this gift back to his people, he might accept this over taking someone else and trading them for his wife.
You are correct. It is. But I have a question to ask you. How old was your wife when she passed?
About 34, one of it.
By that time, if you haven't found anyone suitable for... If you haven't found anyone suitable, when I turn that age, I'll give myself up.
It's a good thing I haven't actually had anything to drink at this point, because I would do a spit take right about now.
Scraps eyes her up and down and nods. I'll consider it.
Ursa flails on the floor.
My eye twitches slightly.
I was just gonna try finding a beautiful woman who's a bitch.
One of the other folks in the bar says, if you want to write beautiful cunt, you can find one in the city. There's a woman who works at town hall, fucking gives me shit every goddamn time I came in to renew my license.
I'm the only one with the proper moral compass.
Scraps waves off the guy's suggestion. And then he
Says the man who threatened to shoot up the entire bar.
He waves off the guy's suggestion and he points to Aurora. If y'all can get these fucking butterflies out of our goddamn town and give our people our magic back, I'll take that over a life.
Racism!
Do we have a deal then?
Well, he offers you his hand. Shake on it.
Shake on it.
When you go to shake his hand, there is a bright glow and you can feel a prick in your palm. Pulling your hand away, you realize that it's bleeding.
Oof.
His hand appears to be as well, but it's more of a sort of thick, oozy substance than normal blood.
That's because it's dead blood.
Yeah. He's been dead a really long time.
Yeah. That hurts. Well.
And if you fail to hold up your end of the bargain, little lady, then you will be compelled to return to me when the time is right. You got 20 years. If you can't get it done for me in 20 years, then you're mine. Understand?
Understood.